Good morning. Today, the third lecture on financial relationship and distribution of financial matters in between the union and a state. This is the second unit of your paper third, and some more lectures required to be delivered on the prescribed syllabus, including the Finance Commission and some provisions of the constitutional law, as well as the judicial interpretation and the Constituent Assembly debate which relate to GOI 1935 and provisions of other constitutional system of federal country. As I have said in earlier lectures, in context of the financial power and distribution of finance in between the union and a state, the matter which has discussed by the members of Constituent Assembly with regard to the consolidated fund, contingency fund, and the public account. Exemption from the tax, fee, duties, and the tax which can be imposed or the tax can be are essential for the meet out of expenditure of the state and the union. The debate was there, and why these provisions are being incorporated in the constitution as a separate part of the constitution under the part 12, chapter 1. As I have said that under this part there are 4 chapters, and chapter 1, which is totally related to the distribution of the finance in between the two, and the finance as a essential matter can be collected, or it shall be collected under the authority of law. And the articles which are relevant for the purpose starts from 264 and goes up to the 290. Second chapter, it is not again to reiterate or repeat the lectures which have delivered in the earlier lectures for the purpose. Therefore, the system of constitutional mechanism is very clear and categorically states about the power of distribution of the finance. Some provisions are also there in the Constitution which prescribes that no tax can be imposed on certain matters. For example, 285, if you will see, which relate to 289, if there is a property of the union and the essential commodities for the public purpose, and this property is situated within the domain of the state, within the area of the state, tax cannot be leveled and imposed by the state because there is a public purpose. And under this public purpose, you have seen that the tax can be imposed only for the public purpose. And so far the fee, as I have already explained, analyzed all the systems under this issue and debate, that is which is related to the service is called the fee, we have seen. Therefore, in examination, it can be asked the question from the whole chapter, including the borrowing of money and the financial commission, finance commission provision is there under Article 280. There was debate and it has the constitutional status for its functioning. I will try to deliver one separate lecture on this topic. And for its procedure, Parliament has enacted the law in the year 1951. 8 sections are there. And these sections prescribes the appointment, removal, qualification, procedure, and the recommendation of the Finance Commission to the President of India. That is one of the components and one of the topic in the syllabus. And that may be asked in examination. Be ready to prepare all and go through the system of law. Now, when the present Article 265 was debated in the Constituent Assembly about the making of law for the distribution of the finance in between two political organizations, it has thought by the constitution makers that India have adopted democratic republic constitutional system. In the democratic republic constitutional system, there is a provision for the application of fundamental provision of fundamental system, fundamental aspect of the supremacy of law and supremacy of the constitution. In democratic constitutional system, there are two aspects. One is supremacy of law, and another is the supremacy of constitution. Constitution, in the wide sense, is also called law, but it is a supreme law. That's why whenever we are talking about the rule of law, there is the need to separate the constitutional aspect from the other law. Thus, the Article 265 debated in the Constituent Assembly, and it had decided to incorporate a special provision under this part 12 as the provision of rule of law. And this provision of rule of law categorically provided under 265. This should be your introduction on the subject matter. Whenever you are writing any analysis of any legal provision, there should be the habit to go through the background. That's why I have explained the background of 265. And the Constituent Assembly in the month of May 1949, as a draft constitution, Article 90, which is related to the money bill. Article 90 of the draft constitution is related to the money bill. And at that time, it has thought that this 90 is a subject matter directly to the passing of money bill by the parliament. But it has thought that, as I have said, there should be separate provision for the rule of law, that no taxes shall be imposed or levied without the procedure of law. And in the draft constitution, the chairman of the draft constitution, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, said that if any levy is to be made upon the people, there should be the sanction of law. He said that at the framing of Article 90 as a draft provision in the draft constitution, Article 90, it has expressed the view by the chairman that if in future the tax shall be imposed, that the levy shall be levied on the public for public purpose, there should be law. He has expressed. And the law should be in that part where there will be the provisions. He said there will be the provisions for imposing and leveled off the tax on the public. That should not be without the authority of law. That was one of the very powerful arguments at that time, which I said by the chairman of the draft constitution. Then on 4th August 1949, again the chairman of the draft constitution submitted a proposal of amendment in the draft constitution. That was the article 248 as a addition of new article 248 of the draft constitution's numerical number of the article. I'm not just quoting that article of the constitution, it is a draft constitution's serial. And that by that amendment of 4th August 1949, what was the problem? Why I'm just citing all these illustrations or explaining with the help of the Constituent Assembly debate? Because there is no need to express again and again. It is a level of the study, PG, where the you should have the capacity, or you must have to develop your habit to go into the detail of any provision, into the detail. And detail includes the every aspect. It is not a surface study, it is a deep study. Okay, what was the provision under this 248 of draft constitution? The provision was no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. That has been submitted before the Constituent Assembly to debate on this provision, that the no tax shall be levied or collected except the provisions of or authority of law. This is quoted, if you will see or search website, Constituent Assembly Debate, Volume 9, at page number 199, as you are writing just the referencing. References in the law for the purpose of research, if I will use the word soul of law, it is a soul of law. ये विद की आत्मा है, referenced, to cite the reference. And after the PG, the student should be competent in searching them, in doing the research on law, wherever they will be, either in court or in the educational domain. Therefore, citing the reference always is one of the part of the provisions of law. And as I have cited the reference, that the debate relating to the imposing leveled off and leveling the tax on public for public purpose can only be by authority of law. That was the draft constitutional provision 248. And at the revision stage, it was Article 265. Because the serial number of the draft constitution during the debate increased by submitting the amendment by the honorable member of the Constituent Assembly. And the revision article is at present, which is in our constitution, serial number of that article is 265. I have analyzed some guidelines when it can be said that the authority of law applies on the taxage imposed by the authorized organ of the state. Authorized means legally authorized according to the provision of Schedule 7th of the Constitution. There are some tests, and these tests are that number one, as I have already said, because on that day there was the internet problem, I'm just reiterating the some provisions which are required to be kept in mind or to be understood by the student for all purpose. And that is test number one. No tax can be imposed by anyone. Anyone means by union or the state by the executive order. It cannot be. Executive order, you know, it is a GO, government order. It is not a categorical provision under the legislation. Of course, so far the definition of law is concerned in context or with reference of Article 13, the government order as a rule, GO as a rule is a part of the law. It is a part of the law. But for the purpose of Article 265, the GO is not the part of the legislation. I'm just using the word legislation by avoiding the word law, because the purpose of the law here with relate to the interpretation and analysis of the authority of law, which is written under 265, is totally different from that part of the definition of law which incorporates, includes the system. It cannot be, first test I have said that it cannot be imposed only by the executive order. The second, the tax which shall be levied, that should be within the area prescribed by the Constitution itself under the Schedule 7. There are lists, and under the list there are entries. And under these entries, there are the provision to impose the tax by the union or the state. As you have seen, I have cited last time the entries which are the prescribed under the list 1. If we will see, it starts from, please go again through these entries, because second point of the test I'm just analyzing here. It starts from 82 and 92B up to that point. For certain extent, this is the union list. There are the items as entry written there. Therefore, this is the second test. And in these taxage list second, also from 45-50, because there are, according to the source available, 66 entry at present, because some confusion is here. Some writers have written, but the latest BR Act says that the 66 entries under the list second, and under list 1 there are 97. Some writers have said that in internet there is a information that it has increased, but latest BR Act, I have gone through the latest BR Act and I got that the numbers is 97 and 66 and 47 list. These are called the entry, and most of the entries which we are just quoting, interpreting, analyzing, for the application of the particular entry with reference to particular topic prescribed under the syllabus, that requires to be focused on it. Therefore, the entries are the second point of the test. As I have said, the division of power categorically stated under the 7th union list and the state. The third test, first test is executive order cannot be passed for the imposing any tax. Second is demarcation given under Schedule 7 by dividing the powers of union as well as the state. This is second test. This should not be the ultra vires, as I have already said. The third one is that the tax which is going to be imposed by enacting the law. Enacting the law means the legislation. This should not be in violation of the provisions of Article 13 of the Constitution. Should not. And 13 is the part of the constitutional provision under the part 3rd of the Constitution as a fundamental right. It means if I am just narrating, it should not be in violation of in derogation of Article 13 of the Constitution, it means the tax imposed by the legislature, either the parliament or state legislature, by enacting a law according to the provision of 265. That should not be in violation of fundamental rights. It says in this way. And now the very essential item which had incorporated under Article 266 and 267. I have already pointed out that there is the query, or there is the point which requires to be discussed, that the kinds of fund as enumerated under the provisions of Constitution are three. The first one is the consolidated fund, and the public account. This is second. Consolidated fund, this is the question of objective, please, in your competitive examination. And what is the purpose, and what kind of money can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund? There is separate article, Article 266 for the consolidated fund, number one. Under this article also, if you will see that clause 2, there is provision for public account. And clause 3 of the same article prescribes the provision that when and how the public money can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund. When and how and what purpose the money can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund. There shall be the consolidated fund. And what money shall be deposited in the consolidated fund? The answer of this question is given by the Constitution itself under Article 266, Clause 1. It says that the taxes and duties, there are the words tax, duty, fee. These are the words. Surcharge is also the one of the words. And power is given to the competent legislature. Whenever you will use the competent legislature, it means whatever the areas are there. If it is an area of parliament, if it is an area, means the subject matter of state legislature, as the case may be, the word competent legislature can be used for that purpose. Then first, what money shall be deposited in the consolidated fund? The basic idea, I am not just delivering the marathon of the statement, just quoting the simple aspect which says that taxes and duties, whatever shall be collected by the executive. To collect the money, it is the duty of the executive, that is government, that is the department of the government, agencies of the government. That will go to the consolidated fund of government of India and the consolidated fund of the government of the state. Clause 1 of this article. At state level, there will be the clause consolidated fund, or at the center level, there will also be the consolidated fund. In both the places, the money collected by tax or duty, for example, excise tax, and it can be in a popular word excise duty, that will go to the consolidated fund. This is very clear. And the second point is, may not be in your mind, taxes is very popular, familiar, everyone is aware, or this is known to all, that there is a word tax, and normally imposed by the government under the authority of law. But there is another source of consolidated fund, and that source is the loans, ऋण. The borrowing and the to give the loan by the government, or you will say, sir, by the bank. Of course, the agency may be there to recover it once it has been given. That will again go to the consolidated fund. These are the sources of the money of the consolidated fund. To deposit this money in the consolidated fund. And the clause 2 says that apart from these sources, tax, duty, and the loan, the money from these sources will go to the consolidated fund. And apart from these sources, other sources are also there of the government. The money collected by other source, this will go into the public account. It is called the public account. Question normally asked in the objective form in every competition, please. This is the public account. Other sources money will go there. And for the public expenditure from the public account, there should be the provision also in law. When and how the money can be withdrawn from the public account. It is if there is a sudden emergency, the public accounts money can be used by the government. But in consolidated fund, you might be seeing the constitutional provision that the salaries of some constitutional authorities can be withdrawn from the consolidated fund. For example, salaries of the honorable judges. There is. And the clause 2, as I have said, that the public money, public account, and 3rd of this article, 266, money from consolidated fund shall be appropriated only by authority of law. Shall be appropriated. Appropriated means to withdrawn. The expenditure shall be there of only by authority of law. It means that what are the areas where expenditure shall be done or shall be used from the consolidated fund should also be done. It is written in the finance budget, financial budget. This should be every year. You might be seen, you have been seen, there is a financial budget which is being placed on the floor of parliament by the finance minister, and to get it passed by the legislatures, parliamentarian and state legislatures every year, and that is the financial act. Whenever the bill placed, either the financial or the money bill, there is special provisions for passing of this bill under various provisions, including 112, 113, and so on. These are also the question which you should have to go through the provisions of constitutional law, the procedure of the parliament, state legislature, that might be read or studied by the students at level of graduation. But again and again, it requires to read and study, because one words have the various meanings about it, and these meanings, the relating to this aspect of the law, which is very useful for the LLM. So therefore, the 266 is there, and in this 266, you have seen that the provisions for public account and the consolidated fund. And a draft constitution, there is again the question of the basically the Constituent Assembly debate on this article. In the month of February 1948, on 21st February 1948, in the provisions of constitutional system, new law for the consolidated fund has debated. Initially, there was the word revenue of India, revenue of state, in place of the consolidated fund. But this word had changed on 8th June 1949. And by way of the amendment not in constitutional law, but amendment in the draft constitution. During the debate, there was the proposal, resolution, amendment submitted, as I have said, the members, and one of the amendment was there on the, you have seen that 8th June 1949. And that amendment was to change the name of the fund from the Revenue of India and Revenue of State. This was in the original draft constitution. And it had suggested that there should be the Consolidated Fund of India and Consolidated Fund of State. And the references was given of the various countries, including Canada, Australia, Thailand, so on, where there is the written constitution, as well as the federal character of the constitution. And then there was one provision equal to the consolidated fund under the GOI 1935. GOI means Government of India Act 1935. The section 136 was all the references in the field of law, if shall be cited, and these references are very useful for the good analysis, excellent analysis of particular provision of law. That's why I am also citing here the GOI Act of 1935. The purpose of this citation is the analysis of the consolidated fund as prescribed under Article 266 at present. And in that section, there was the word account of Governor General under 136 of the GOI Act in place of consolidated fund, which was written in the initially in the draft constitution, Revenue of India, Revenue of State, and the same provision was there under the GOI Act 1935. Section, related section was 136, but the words was there the normally of the distribution of amount and the account of Governor General was there, and the account of the governors were there in province. This the point consolidated fund, that can be the nomenclature changed by constitution makers, which was initially in a different name, that had changed, and now it is the consolidated fund. And it was the noble idea of the constitution makers to give the taxage constitutional status, because the money is the main source of all the expenditure for the public purpose and the development of the life of human being, and that was the consolidated fund, public account. And this parliament normally in every year, as I have said, we passed this law. The debate which was in the Constituent Assembly, there is reference. And there is a citation of that one. That citation is Constituent Assembly Debate, Volume 8, page number 724. That requires to be cited by you when you are writing research paper, or you will write in future the books, or if you will place your argument before the court without the citation of the reference which will take the support by practiced lawyer, court will not accept it, because of the reason that court have to cite the reference where it is written, because it is a law which says that every must be in black and white. There should be there. And thus the citation of this Constituent Assembly debate relating to the consolidated fund and the public account is available in volume 8 at page number 724. Then 4th August 1949, another amendment has placed in the Constituent Assembly as Article 248A, capital A, of the draft constitution. 248A of the draft constitution. And a new provision has suggested to incorporate under the provisions of consolidated fund or public account, which is at present as a clause 3 of Article 266. And what is that provision which is at present clause 3? That provision is, as a draft constitution, 248A is, the money shall not be withdrawn without the authority of law. Shall not be imposed, clause 1, without the, that is the Article 265, shall not be imposed without the authority of law. And here clause 3, as a serial number, numerical number of draft constitution 248A, debated in the Constituent Assembly in the year 1949, 4th August, and which is cited in the Constituent Assembly debate, which is available. It is an authentic document. It is a source of the Constitution. And that provision says that money cannot be withdrawn from the consolidated fund without the authority of law. it means law should be there. As I have cited that what are the provisions. Now, time to time, there is a judicial interpretation. And what is that judicial interpretation of this public account and the consolidated fund as prescribed under this Article 266? These are the judicial interpretation and some aspect one of the case which should be cited or other cases should be cited, that the Commissioner Hindu Endowments of Madras, Commissioner Hindu Endowments of Madras per se, Sri Lakshminath Tripathi, Swami of Sri Siruguru Mutt. The various times the taxes had been challenged. It has been challenged. And because of the reason that the test, as I have said. But one of the very essential point, as I have said, that when the tax imposed by the competent appropriate government or competent legislature under the authority of law, if there is no valid reason, as test evolved by the judiciary, 3 tests are there, mainly 3 tests, then that tax cannot be said a tax against the provision of Constitution or against the provisions of particular legislation. Normally, the tax once imposed is very difficult to declare it unconstitutional. But even if it has declared the illegal unconstitutional, again the parliament have the power to undo or to make another law for supporting own law or own decision which has taken before by passing that law or by approving that tax. In some cases, the court itself has said that if the law declared once the unconstitutional, the parliament have the power, legislature have the power to nullify the effect of that judgment. It has said by the court. And there are the cases, if you will see that Sri Prithvi Cotton Mills versus Braj and Brough Municipality, 1969. Validation and invalid tax. Validation means that to declare the valid. An invalid tax which has imposed by the government to validate it again by the competent legislature. And if you will see the Kaveri water dispute in tribunal also there is of 1992. In that issue, it has been said that legislation may change the basic on which the decision was given by the court and the law in general, but it cannot set aside an individual decision between the parties. Once the decision has been given, okay, that will remain in effect in operation. In between A and B, there are two parties. They have win the case or one have lost the case. That decision will not affect, but or the future, or the effect to validate the effect of the judgment in another cases, law can also be made by the court, because with reference to 266 clause 3 and 265, as it had written under the clause. Then thanks to the net, because we are continuation to take the class today. There is no interruption and do no need to take the another class, because we are continuing it. Then come and analyze the another provision, which is for the contingency fund. Now public account you have seen, and the consolidated fund we have already seen. Then third fund is known as contingency fund, 267. Again there is a provision under this 267 that the parliament may by law establish a contingency fund in the nature of imprest means a money or a cost to be entitled the contingency fund. The power is given again to the parliament or to the state under the article 267 say that there will be the contingency fund, and parliament shall make the law for the purpose, into which shall be paid from time to time such sums as may be determined by the such law. As you have seen, one thing is very clear here, which is somehow different from the consolidated fund, and that is the difference is that there were prescribed area which money shall be deposited in the consolidated fund or which will go in the public account as prescribed by the constitutional provision. Taxes, duties, loans, as you have seen. But here it has not been written here under Article 267. This is different. And it has written that as shall be determined by the law. As it shall be determined by the law. And if it shall be determined by the law, it means that law should provide the provision relating to the what money will go to the contingency fund. There should be the law as it has been written. And the state fund shall be placed at the disposal of the President of India. How it shall be disposed of? Shall be placed before the President of India. It means the executive have the absolute power of the disposal of this money. Expenditure can be used from this contingency fund It is the discretion of the government, executive. Written the word the president. It means the head of the executive. Discretionary power is given. And that is not for the consolidated fund, you have seen. Whatever purpose will be there for withdrawing and utilization of money, that should be written in law. Here the discretion is in the hand of the executive, the disposal of the money power vested on the executive according to the provision of 267. This is unable to that is him and such fund for the purpose of meeting the unforeseen expenditure which have not seen. Unforeseen means any kind of the expenditure can be meet out from the contingency fund, depends on the executive. But what money shall be deposited in the contingency fund, there should be law for that purpose. In the same way, the same provision is prescribed under clause 2 of this article 267. Unforeseen expenditure. What will be there if we will see? For the unforeseen expenditure, there is article 155. Sorry, 115. Sorry, 115 and 116 for the purpose of the expenditures which shall be meet out by the executive, written under 115, article 115 and the 16 under the constitutional system. And what are the 15, 115 and the 116? If we will go through these two articles, these are the supplementary addition or excess grant. Supplementary addition and excess grant. And what is that supplementary, excess and the additional grant? The president have the power, you have seen under clause 1 of article 267 to meet out the unforeseen expenditure. And these unforeseen expenditures are prescribed under article 115 and 116. If the amount authorized by any law made in accordance with the provision of article 114 or 114 is appropriation of bills. Appropriation of bills. Under the appropriation of bills, it means article 14, article 15, article 16 as related to article 267. And 114 says that the grants so made by the House of People, expenditure charged on the consolidated fund on account but not exceeding in case amount shown in the statement provisions laid down before the Parliament. It means whatever the money shall be taken from the contingency. And there should be the provision laid down by the competent legislature. This is in nutshell. It can be said that there shall be the legislation for the purpose. And 16, vote on account boards of credit and exceptional grants. 160. In the same way, for the purpose of, please go through the in detail of these provisions. Normally, these provisions has not been challenged before court, but only the power can be challenged. That has been challenged, and therefore they go through the detailed provisions of all these constitutional systems. Now, in the same way, there are Article 205 and 206. 200 for the purpose of the expenditure meet out from the contingency. It means there should be you have seen the boards on account and boards of the credit and exceptions grants. And these grants are the advance in respect of the estimate expenditures for the part of any financial year in between. Because the financial year starts from the 1st April. And before the 1st April, it is essential to enact or to pass the money bill or financial bill by the competent legislature. If suddenly there are some expenditure which is not prescribed under this financial act which has passed before the 1st April, there is another provision in the constitution. That's why constitution is very unique. Every answer is given, but according to the provision of law, there should be the law should be made for that, and a law can be made later on in between the financial year. This is the provision under the 116, that expenditures can be made out from the contingency fund. The way of the solution, solving the problem with relate to the financial matters is also prescribed under this law. Now, I have said that 205 and 206 related to the state expenditure in the state. What are these provisions? These provisions are the same nature and supplementary additional excess grant as you have seen under the 115. Same is that 205. You have seen 114 appropriate bills. There is 204 for the purpose of the state. And thus the boards on account you have seen in between, if there is a expenditure, the governor as a head of the executive, the another law can be made in between the financial year. Special provision, all these things are prescribed under this 204, 205, 206, and go in detail of these articles and try to understand and correlate it. Search the Constituent Assembly debate for this purpose, and you will be in position at least to understand the language of the law. Language of the law, to understand the language of the law is very essential, and this reference can be cited with relate to the imposing of some taxation by the competent legislature. That should be there. Then the cases Union of India versus State of UP 2008 case, Supreme Court citation 521. relating to the imposing of tax on the property of the union which are situated in the state, as prescribed under the Article 285 and in another article vice versa 289. So what are the exemption from the tax? Please go through that one also, starts from the 276 onwards. And try to understand, here are the cases. And distribution of the taxage also, expenditure, grant of the finance to the states by the union, and for collecting the taxes according to the provision of the constitution. If you will see in nutshell, these are basically the constitutional system prescribed under this law. Then I hope that you will go through all the provisions of the constitutional law. Article 270, taxes distribution between the union and the state, there is a provision. 271, taxes for unions. 72, collect the end distribution among the union and the state. And a special provision for the some states under the 274 and 284, 282, that the parliament have the power to make the certain, to give the certain grant. 282 is very relevant. I am just closing the today's lecture. Tomorrow at the same time, I will start and I will discuss the Finance Commission, Planning Commission, Niti Aayog, and the some provisions of GST, because this will cover the another part of the unit third also of the syllabus. Therefore, the unit third, unit 2, both are very useful units, or every unit have its authenticity. Authority of the syllabus is also there, just like the authority of law. Therefore, the parliament can make the special provision for under the article 282 for the public utility program. And I'm just citing some examples of the public utility program. What are these public utility programs? To prevent and cure the HIV, AIDS, polio, malaria, and epidemic disease as present, to meet out the expenditure, impose the taxes, and to curtailment of some grant, salary. Of course, there is one article in the constitution, that is 360, financial emergency. Without the financial emergency, the executive have power to reduce the salary or not to give the grant. As you have seen that at present, the government has announced that the dearness allowances shall be stopped in future or from this January. This is the power under the constitution, as we are citing here. And some special grant can be granted. For example, you can see the Food Security Act of 2013. The grains and food are being provided to the persons who are living below poverty line. This is prescribed grant but expenditure will occur if there will be the expenditure means need of much money, and the tax can be imposed under this part 12. The categorical provisions are there, clear provisions are there that can be exercised by the government. And the flood, earthquake, disaster management you have seen of 2005. There are separate laws. Taxes and penalties can be imposed by the agency because this is the authority of law. Laws has been made. Therefore, this is the indication page. I have the limited time, and you have also not near about 8 a.m. we have just started because of the good connectivity of internet today up to this 9:20:25, and now you have also the time for taking the rest. Rest doesn't mean to enjoy, but rest means to study. To study whatever the problem one have, everyone have the problem, but forget all these problems. Avoid all these problems. Total dedication to the study. Study is the supreme duty, but I am not going to say something about it. But tomorrow topic I have assigned, time I have also assigned. The 8 a.m. topic is the Financial Commission, Planning Commission, Niti Aayog, and some provisions of GST, Goods and Services Tax, amendment of 101 as incorporated in the Constitution. By amending the Constitution, the GST Council has recommended and what laws has enacted. A summary discussion will be there, and therefore after the summary discussion of tomorrow, we will close the unit 2 and some parts of unit 3 we are covering here, we are including here, and these are the Planning Commission and Niti Aayog. Thank you very much for patience listening, but one information is also there. Please, it is not proper to point out here the name. The student can themselves try to understood that they are unmuting their mics already. Then speaking without any reference with other persons who are sitting near them. And mostly one person is creating this problem. What I have seen, one person. I'm not citing the name because it is going to be published in YouTube. I have no such type of habit. I'm a person who want to cooperate by you people, please. If any person have any problem, then leave the site and then discuss with others. Sit in a alone place. Ask to the children also if you are at home, and they should not have to disturb. This is my sincere advice. Again, I'm facing problem, but I'm not citing the name. That student might be, or just before this 5 and 7 minutes, again he had unmuted. This is the technology. There is a problem to make the concentration in the interest of other student. If you have the problem, then leave this group so that the others will be in position to understand it. This is the emergency. These are the emergency lecture. Please maintain the emergency. Thank you very much for listening me, and tomorrow at the same time we will again meet, and I hope that most of the students and the maximum students will participate because these are very fruitful lectures and I am trying to complete the lectures online so that whenever the lockdown will over or will be ended, examination will be started by the university, the student shall be in position to appear in the examination, and the student, not only this, the student shall be prepared themselves to understand the law by getting the benefits of these lectures. Therefore, three assignment I have, because today I am getting some time, and earlier there was the because of the interruption of the internet I was facing, and the three assignment I have given. And one confusion is there in the mind of the student. They are in confusing stage. This is, suppose the assignment number 1 has submitted by the student, but there was some objections at the time of evaluation. I am normally is returning the mail by suggesting the point. Unless in any assignment it shall not be written by me, accepted. Accepted. Don't think that it has been accepted. Only the single word shall be there, the accepted. If it has written the accepted conditionally with the following suggestions, it means it requires to be done by that student on that assignment also. And once you will be expert, I am receiving some assignment from another campus also and teaching some part of the law in LLM, and they have no habit to develop the assignment as per the research. Therefore, UGC has prescribed that there should be the internal assessment of certain marks. And after going through that one, you will get the expertise in the field of the searching the things, adjusting the material, and explaining in it according to some legal system, and to produce before the court systematically and differently as other advocates are presenting. Your habit will be totally different. Then chances to become the judicial officer in this in subordinate judiciary or in higher judiciary after the completion of 10 years of practice in the High Court. So please be serious about it and get something, not to disturb to your teacher, but by politely and sincerity should be shown by all, including the teachers also. At least at the time of the study, there is a code of conduct of the study. Thank you very much. I'm just ending this today meeting.